you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Some may have heard the saying, only God will judge me. Well, what kind of society do we live in now where it's the people who judge you? Where it's the people who decide who lives and who dies? Well, I'm here today to talk about the death penalty. First, I'm going to list reasons to be against the death penalty and then reasons to be for it. But first, a little history. The death penalty dates as far back as the 18th century. People were crucified, they were burned alive, they were buried alive. The first recorded execution in America was that of George Kendall in the Jamestown colony of Virginia in 1608. He was executed for being a spy. Crimes today punishable by the death penalty are treason, aggravated kidnapping, hijacking a plane, rape, murdering during an act of terrorism, or capital drug trafficking. And those are just a few of the reasons. So picture this. You are an innocent person wrongly accused of a crime. You're thrown in jail, and you don't have any means of financial support to pay for a good lawyer. So you are given the death penalty. Brings me to my first two reasons to be against the death penalty. Number one, innocent people can be wrongly accused. Since the death penalty was reinstated in 1976, 82 inmates have been freed from death row. That's one death row inmate found to be wrongly convicted out of seven executed. The second reason is death sentences are handed down arbitrarily, not in fair manner. Serial killers such as the infamous Gary Ridgway in Seattle, who admitted killing 48 prostitutes and runaways, got life in prison. Meanwhile, mentally ill and impoverished murderers who could not afford good lawyers and didn't get much media attention were given the death penalty. My third reason to be against the death penalty is executions cost more than life in prison. It's $2 million per person to be executed, and it's $500,000 to live life in prison. And my fourth reason is more of a personal reason. I believe that people can change. I know it's weird. You wouldn't think that a murderer can change. They're not very, highly looked upon. But everyone deserves a chance to live and to learn from their mistakes. And even if they have life in prison, that still gives them the chance to change mentally and to change their heart. Reasons to be for the death penalty. Despite the Eighth Amendment, which states prohibition of the federal government from imposing cruel or unusual punishment, which would be execution, the same Congress that proposed that enacted the Act of April 30th, 1970, which made several offenses punishable by death. So the number one reason to be for it is constitutional. So, number two reason, a lot of people believe you kill, you be killed. It's an eye for an eye. A person shouldn't deserve to live if they kill another person. So, there are numerous reasons to be for and against the death penalty, but in the end, it all comes down to one person's decision, and that's yours. Thank you.
It's interesting. Again, the pros versus cons is something I like. There was one thing though that I really think you should have done, and that is describe where you got your numbers from where people got where you got the $2 million versus the 500,000, because I find that really hard to believe. So it's really good to have like a source in some instances of like where you pull those numbers, because I don't really see how it can be so expensive to just kill someone as easily as we can today.
Okay. Yeah, I should have done that. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and along with that, just a second, along with that, James, I would say if you can weave that in so it seems natural for your speech, and that's probably the harder thing, because you don't want to spend a whole lot of time giving the citation as much as you would sort of natural idiom to, so don't lose the audience by giving them all the detail, give them enough that offers credit to the other place. So I guess what I'm saying, don't read a full bibliographical citation.
Just say one simple thing.
Yeah,
kind of.
say where it was, Harper's Bazaar, June 77, whatever it was.
But I'm just saying that because you don't want, when you hear a fact that's surprising, at least in my case, I'd like to hear kind of where you got it from. Because, I guess, that was really surprising. I would figure it'd be a lot more expensive to keep them alive.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah, the other thing that you can do, a little trick, is you can offer to provide your sources, perhaps at the end, or you could say that you'll have those available. You've got them printed out. Because sometimes you need a lot of sources.
I actually think I might have it printed out.
Yeah. Well, it might help, because I'm with James. I wrote down the same thing. I just kind of wanted to know roughly where those things came from. Donnie, what was your question?
Well, first of all, I thought your intro was great because it got my attention and it informed me and everyone else what to expect in the speech. And you started out in your body great. It was very informative. You had good facts. But then towards the middle of the body of your speech, I got confused because I'm not, and I'm still not sure exactly what you're trying to persuade me of. Was your speech for the death penalty or against the death penalty?
Against it.
Against it.
Because I said,
I got really confused there in the middle because you switched gears with reasons to be for the death penalty. That kind of threw me for a loop.
Oh. I was told I had to give both sides, kind of. And that's why I said, number 4, I said why this is a personal opinion that people can change. So that's
you had a good compare and contrast for sure, but that's where you just kind of lost me in the middle as far as where you were coming from and what you were trying to convince me of.
Okay. Yeah, I'm against it, so y'all know.
And for everyone in here, just remember, your job in the beginning is to capture the person's attention and want them to be able to listen to your speech. Your conclusion should clearly wrap it all up. So Johnny's question could have been answered in that conclusion as well.
Right. That was another one of the comments I wrote down, was that your conclusion didn't really tie your argument together as well as it could have.
Yeah.
But as far as your delivery went, I liked it. It was good. You spoke clearly. You looked confident.
Thank you.
Give her some stuff she can use. She knows she's good.
Yeah. You got what? Yeah. That's kind of why I only gave I gave 4 reasons to be against it, and I only gave 2 to be for it. So that's why I guess, I don't know. I just did that because I'm against it. So.
And maybe that's just it. You know, Johnny's confusion is for you to be able to come out just a little bit more clearly with what you need to teach. It's interesting though, because whenever you have a topic like this, while it's controversial, I think that everybody has an opinion of some sort or another.
Yeah.
And it's a tough thing to give a speech on. And you picked that up immediately, you know, when you asked me if you should do this.
Yeah, I was scared. Well, because my friend told me that people do it a lot, and it's like overrated, and people don't want to hear about it. But it's something I'm really strong about, so I just thought I'd ask you.
Well, here's what my suggestion would be, real specifically about topics like this. Find an element that may actually need some more discussion. So, for example, I would argue that in my own mind, I'm kind of torn up about the fact, well, you can't change the fact that some states are going to execute people. That's going to happen. But there's a state, I think Texas, where they have eliminated the person's choice for their last meal. So what they've historically done is they've offered a person who might be up for execution the chance to choose what they'll eat for their last meal. Theoretically.
Doesn't Texas execute more people than China?
What's that, Johnny?
I said, doesn't Texas also execute more people than China?
They do. But it's that little nuance of a much larger issue may actually get people to pay more attention to what you have to say, or it might actually give you a chance to find even more interesting statistics about that. Like, why on earth did that ever start? So maybe if you're picking a much smaller portion of a much broader topic, it allows you to be able to kind of focus in and to keep people off balance a little bit. Deuce, when was the last time you thought about whether or not some strangler from Texas should be allowed to eat a Big Mac before he dies? You ever thought about something like that? I didn't think so. I was kind of hoping you had. But it's those little things like that that you'll notice, especially like comedians who get up on stage and who rich and famous. They're usually talking about some real small detail.
Yeah.
And usually not a big broad topic. Anna, that was very nice.
Was it better than my last one?
I think so, actually. This one is you are very confident in front of the room. And this is the last thing that I think I'm going to say. I'm not sure that you need a podium when you stand in front of a group of people.
No.
And I think you demonstrate that by standing off to the side of it. So you want to be seen, and that's a really good thing. And for me, that means that you're very confident, that you got nothing to hide, and I'd say you guys can keep the speaker controlled room. You want to get that podium out of the way so that there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'll do that next time.
Yeah, some people may even want to walk closer to their audience. It depends upon the topic and who you are, those sorts of things. Some people don't feel confident at all. So do whatever you feel is right. But yeah, I didn't think that podium helped you one little bit. Cass, I'm curious, what did you think about Hannah's speech before we let her step down from the podium?
She seemed very confident. She looked down at her cards a lot and read from the cards, but she seemed very confident. She moved a little bit. but I mean, there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, it was way good. I liked it, but I really like the confidence. Yeah.
Was the body of my persuasiveness good enough? Like, did it seem organized?
It seemed like it. I just kind of took some notes of mostly why you shouldn't be for it. I don't think yeah.
It's kind of interesting. What I find is that folks can sometimes focus on both things. I see in this class that we're focused a lot on the physicalities of when we're up in front of folks, and I think that's good. While on the other hand, remember, it's the whole tamale. It's about what we say and how we act in front of our audience. And it's okay if you're unable to answer that question. It's a really good question, and for a person who's an experienced speaker, the idea is that you would have their attention by virtue of your physicality, your confidence, all those little pieces, but also because of what you say, how you say. So keep that in mind as we move through these speeches too. I think that's part of the feedback. See if you can get folks some feedback on what they're saying, how they're saying it, and how they look and act and